Heroes are an inspiring group of people. Every one of them, from the larger-than-life comic book heroes you see on the big silver screen to the everyday heroes that let us live the privileged lives we do. Every hero has a story to tell. The doctor saving lives at your local hospital, the war veteran down the street who risked his lives for our freedom, the police officers and firefighters who risk their safety to ensure ours. Every hero is special and every story worth telling, but there is one class of heroes that I think is often ignored. The entrepreneur, the creator, the producer, the ones who look at the problems in this world and think to themselves, you know what? I can fix that. I can help people, and I can make a difference. Then they go out and do exactly that by creating a new product or introducing a new service. Some go on to change the world, others make a world of difference to their customers. Welcome to The Hero Show. Join us as we pull back the masks of the world's finest heropreneurs and learn the secrets to their powers, their success, and their influence, so you can use those secrets to attract more sales, make more money, and experience more freedom in your business. I'm your host, Richard Matthews, and we are on in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to The Hero Show. My name is Richard Matthews, and I am here on the line with Rohan Gilkes, or Gilkes. Am I saying that right, Rohan?
Yes, Rohan Gilkes. Yes, you got it.
Awesome. Glad I could. It's a very difficult name to pronounce, but hopefully people will be able to find you when we spell it out for you later at the end of the show. So let me give a quick introduction to you. So Rohan is a serial entrepreneur. You've built several multi-million-dollar companies over the last few short years. You were recently voted one of the 100 most influential African Americans by Root, and you were recognized by the Obama White House for your work in entrepreneurship, which is super cool. I want to hear a little bit more about that. You developed and presented business case studies for Catholic University MBA program, Northwestern University's MBA program, and you're a regular speaker at startup conferences, and you're a member of the Young Entrepreneurs Council, which is very, very cool. And it says you're committed to building impactful, sustainable businesses and doing so in a transparent way as possible so other folks can join you on your journey. So my first question, Rohan, is what is it that you are most known for now, right? If people were to look at you, look at your businesses, what is it that Rohan is known for today in the business world?
So I am primarily known for creating a series of case studies on how to take simple local service businesses and make them more modern. So I created, basically what I did was I came up with this concept where I was say, okay, let me look at a lawn care company or a home cleaning service business, and what would that look like if it were run by a company like Uber? It would have like a mobile app, it would have online scheduling, it would have like real-time alerts and so on. And that's what I kind of did, came up with this process. I built a bunch of businesses that way, did double-digit millions of dollars doing that, and then I basically shared the entire process to the world. A bunch of people did the same thing as well, and now we're doing combined over about $60 million per year. So that's kind of what I'm most known for, except for a couple other random stuff too.
That's really cool. So when you say you developed these, were you actually developing the businesses themselves, or were you going into existing businesses and helping them transition?
Both. So I developed some of the businesses myself, and then I also created a software that exists businesses could use to come over to do the same thing. Basically to modernize old school traditional businesses into something that feels more real time and millennial leaning and more modern and mobile apps and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're sort of taking these businesses that have been around for a long time and you're helping them move into I tell people the millennial market is the up and coming money makers, right? They're all the people that are gonna, they're starting their families, they're having kids, and they're, getting out of college, they're starting their jobs, they're getting their careers. They're the new force of money, right? So you're taking businesses that were serving some of the older generations and helping them serve the newest generation of money makers.
Absolutely, and I may have to record how you said it because it's the most perfect way ever. Yes.
Well, we did record it. It's on the episode. You could steal it.
Perfect.
That's cool. So, as you know, on the Hero Show, we actually go through and talk about your story in the, as a hero's story arc. So the first part of that is your origin story. Every hero has one. It's where you started to realize that you were different, right? That maybe you had superpowers, maybe you could use them to help other people. Where you started to develop and discover the value you can bring to the world. Where did you start in your entrepreneurial journey?
So I started my entrepreneurial journey back in about 2011 where I just knew that what I was doing then was not fulfilling. I was an accountant, and I had been doing that for about 10 years. I was not very happy, and I felt like, I had to find something to where I could apply my skills and build a business and build some freedom. And I started just going online, learning everything I could learn, and building every type of business you could imagine, trying to find a way out of having a full-time job. That's how things started. Then I stumbled upon, basically my home cleaner at the time, a lady that would come and clean my home, and we were really good friends. She wanted me to build her a website. She knew that at that time I was dabbling in website building and internet marketing, and she was like, "Can you build me a website?" So I said, I could build you one, but it's just going to sit there online. You need the marketing, you need the customer acquisition, you need all this. And what if I partnered with you? I build it. I handle all the marketing, customer acquisition, and so on. And we find a way to split the money that we made. And she was like, "Yeah." And that really was the start of it, because I knew that I had to build it in a way that was linear leaning, because I knew that audience of people, they were accustomed to instant gratification, buying on Amazon and it's delivered like in 12 hours or something. They wanted that instant gratification, and I knew I had to build that into that type of business, and that was the beginning of everything that I've done so far started at that point.
So how do you go from an idea, right, that is something that you just want to work with, to scaling that into, multiple 7-figure business? That's not something that a lot of people have experience with, right? Even in my business, we got lots of cool ideas, we do lots of cool things, but none of them have scaled into multiple 7 figures. How do you go from like an idea where you're working with one customer, dabbling in internet marketing? Isn't what a lot of us do. We have internet marketing. We're helping people build their businesses and things like that. How did you make that transition from I have an idea to I'm running, a $60 million business?
Mm-hmm. So some of it was some of it was luck. I have to speak to luck really quickly. I was at the right space at the right time, meaning that there was this entire huge hole in the market where the millennial audience that you were talking about, they were being ignored in this space. They were being forced to conduct business in a way that they were not happy with that. So that was the first part. Just I want to say luck is also important. But what I did was I just became obsessed. So I want to talk about that part. There's a luck, but then I was obsessed. After I put the business out there and some person came and they put up their credit card, on the first day I opened the doors and service for $139. I will never forget the amount. I just felt like, man, this has become something. And I then worked on it every waking moment I had. Like I would go to work on it at lunchtime. I would get off work at 5 p.m., work on that business at night, wake up at 6 a.m., worked on it for 2 hours before work, worked on it for like 12 hours on Saturdays, 12 hours on Sundays. So that obsession, I think, is also an important thing that I've put with me as I've built other businesses. Like that first year, I just become a mad person and read everything I could read and try new things aggressively. And when I found something that worked, I just did that thing like it was like I was breathing. I needed to do that thing to breathe, and that's how things worked out.
And how much of that kind of like really hardcore effort was put into building repeatable systems that you could then use to scale?
Oh yeah, so I'm glad you said that. So as soon as I would do something and I saw that this thing was working, then yes, my next step was like, how can I either automate it? How could I make it into a system that would work forever in this space? And that process that you just described is what led to me building software to manage every element of the business. And then that software actually ended up becoming its own product that now does about $1.5 million a year that other people could use as well. And that was the process. But yeah, when I found something, I had to systemize it and automate it right away.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like, there was a lot of parts in your story where you're just working really hard and building systems and just aggressively following the paths that work.
Yes.
Yeah. So it sort of sounds like in this process you discovered your superpowers, right? So your superpowers in your story here is it's what you do or you build, you offer the world that helps solves problems for other people. Right? It's the things that you do that help slaves the world's villains. So if you could narrow it down to like what you discovered in this process that really is either your superpower that you've brought to your businesses or the business's superpower that you're bringing to other people's business, how would you describe that?
Yeah, so the thing that I think is my superpower through all of this, even looking back, 5 years, 6 years now that I've been doing this, and how I've been able to impact so many people to quit their jobs and do the same thing and kind of like really change their lives. For me, that thing is copywriting, content creation. So a lot of what I do to drive traffic to my businesses and to inspire other people to do this stuff is I put out these long form case studies where I tell them like, this is exactly what I did. I'm going to peel back the layers and let you essentially watch me as I build this business. And you can then go forward and do the same thing. You can use the systems that I've created to do that. And I'm going to lay everything bare for you. And that has really, that is the thing that propels myself into success. By creating these super transparent case studies, and I've written so many of them on Reddit and on Medium, on even my Facebook page. And that has really what has been the change for me.
That's really interesting because it's actually the same kind of model I follow for growing my business and I tell a lot of my clients the same thing. It's like you can give and teach everything, right? And people like they don't buy the information, right? They buy the intimacy, they buy the ability to actually like work with you. So giving them all the information up front is not a kill for your business. It actually helps your business grow. So that's really fascinating that like you've used that strategy to build a $60 million business.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. People are usually concerned. They usually say, well, if I give away everything, what is there going to be left to sell? And it's exactly the opposite, just like you said.
Yeah.
Give it away and people, they feel more connected to you. They don't want to like essentially execute it themselves. Like they want to hire you to do it. They feel that you are the best person in the world. You're building your brand. They feel that you are the expert at this thing. So now an opportunity to be close to you, to work with you, you don't ever have to look for customers if you give away everything. They will look.
Yeah. So I tell people all the time, people don't buy information, they buy intimacy. And you can literally give away the farm and people will still buy from you because they don't want to be in that business, right? They're not in the business of building, apps and things like that to help run the marketing for their business. They want to, they want to clean houses, right? They want to do the plumbing, right? They want to do the thing that they want to do, yes. Right? I work with like real estate, trainers. They want to do real estate. They don't want to build an expert brand business. That's what you do, right? That's the thing that you do. So like you're just proving to them that you can help them ahead of time with your case studies, and then they're saying, yep, you can. The offer essentially, even if it's not spoken out loud, is you can learn to do all this yourself, or you can hire us. We can do it for you.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, the next step, right? The next part of the hero story is the fatal flaw, right? So every hero has a fatal flaw. Superman is kryptonite. Batman's not actually super, that kind of thing. And I tell people in my business, I have a problem with being a perfectionist, where I'll spend so much time trying to get something exactly perfect, and it doesn't actually, lead to anything useful in my business, and I'll get stuck on things. And the question is less about what the flaw is, and more about what have you done in your business to help overcome the flaws that you have in your business. So, what would you say your fatal flaw is, and how have you helped deal with it?
That's a super good one. I feel like that's a really good question. So I feel like one of the fatal flaws that I had to deal with is that I would have at some point this like short-term orientation where I would be working on something. It could be a project, a business, or whatever. And then like the next week, I think of another project or business to work on. So I go do that. Then 2 weeks later, I think of something else and I go do that. And I was never able to fully commit to bringing something to fruition and making it as big as it possibly could become. And so what I've done is I now know that focus is what wins. Like focus wins, focus wins. So what I do instead is this. I focus essentially on one project, one business. That's all I'm going to work on. And I usually try to give myself a time, like 6 months to 12 months. If by that time this thing is not working out, either financially or with what other metric I use to measure success, I then give myself permission to move on to something else, but not until I hit that time period that I give myself to work on that thing. If that thing does become successful in that time and is making money, bringing in, $25,000 a month or something, then I feel comfortable enough where I can hire some person, they can manage it, and then I'm able to basically buy my time and move on to that next thing that I'm really excited about doing. So I kind of set this framework for myself where I have these rules now, and unless I hit that marker or I'm able to hit that goal or satisfy that rule, I cannot move on to something else.
Yeah, I really like that. So it's a thing that a lot of us entrepreneurs struggle with, is that whole, a lot of times it's called shiny object syndrome, right? Where we're so interested in the new thing and the next thing that we want to move on before we finish the thing that we've done, right? And like I tell people, like one of my other flaws is I am satisfied by learning, right? So like, I've learned the new thing and that was enough satisfaction that I don't actually have to go out and do anything with it. Yeah. Right. So it's the same kind of problem. So what you've done to solve that is you've built yourself a framework that it's like, I have this thing and this thing, here's the amount of time that I know I have to put into something in order to get a legitimate result from it. Right. So in advertising, we call that like statistical relevance. Have like at least 1,000 people seen the offer before we make a decision on whether or not the price is too high or too low or something like that, or we need to change the button color. Right. So you're giving your business time to achieve that statistical relevance. Right. Is it delivering the revenue that we want? Are the customers happy? Right. Whatever your metrics are, is it delivering all those things that you're giving it enough time to actually to hit those? And it's like a hard and fast rule. Like if we don't give it this time, we don't focus on anything else. Right. Until you do. So do you ever have anything that you actually cut it off early where like there's a big red flag that you're like, nope, it's not worth giving it all the time?
Oh yeah, for sure. I essentially, now that I've done it so many times, I like that time, 30 to 60 days for some person to come to that website or that landing page or whatever, put out their credit card, give me that credit card and buy something. So that's kind of like where I am right now. Like 30 to 60 days, I want there to be a transaction from a complete stranger. Now that time, because I've done it so much, I have a team in place. It seems short for people that may be listening, but as you kind of get better, that is kind of like what I would think that goal really essentially should be. Unless, of course, you're building software that takes a long time to develop. But even with software, I want to be paid even before the software is completed. But yeah, I've cut so many things off. I get to the 60-day mark. I haven't seen a single dollar. The business has been open for at least 30 days. Nobody's buying. I've put in a marketing effort, so I know I've put in a solid effort. There's no transactions. I move on and start up another domain and do something else.
Yeah, so you have like an early cutoff, and then like if it makes the early cutoff, then you're like, this is getting my focus until it hits our goals at the end of this year. Yeah. And then your next step then is to start pulling yourself out of the business and building the systems to replace yourself and like have that business run on its own.
Absolutely, yeah. So I have the business running on
that's a really cool framework, and I feel like you should build a course on it. So it's a really cool answer to that fatal flaw too, right? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that. So anyways, I liked that a lot. So next one is your common enemy, right? So every hero has the common enemy. It's the thing that they fight against, right? And the way I want to think about this is if you could go into your client's life, and you could pick any one of the businesses that you work with, and you could just remove something from their life immediately and have all of them get a better, faster, cheaper result because of removing that enemy, what would that be?
So, okay, I mean, that's another fantastic question. So the thing that came to mind right away is the mental piece of this. And the thing that I find, the people that I work with, my clients, or even people that I try to mentor in some way, the thing that kills them the most is overthinking. Overthinking. And I'll just define that as I can present to them a pathway that has led to the success of 100 people before them. But what they'll do is they'll create a storyline in their minds that tells them that if they are the 101st person that tries this, it's not going to work. And here are the reasons why. And they will tell themselves this really compelling story on why it won't work for them because of some specific thing, like their left toe is not the right size, something completely ridiculous. And
my left toe's not the right size either.
Exactly. But it's going to be something completely ridiculous, and it really hurts them. It hurts them from implementing systems. It hurts them from automating. It hurts them from increasing their prices. It hurts them from building better relationships with their clients and having more and more conversations with their clients and so on. It hurts them in so many ways. That whole thing of overthinking, naysaying, that whole thing, I don't know what to even call it in general, but if I can remove that from people's space, they could double their businesses, a lot of them, in like next year or two.
Yeah, it's that negative self-talk, right? It's that little voice in your head. Like, if you ever seen the little movies, you got that good guy and the bad guy on your shoulder. It's that bad guy whispering you're not good enough. You're in the wrong market. Nobody's going to believe you. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's that voice that you just have to learn how to shut up, right? How to not listen to it. And so do you have any strategies that you use to help clients get over that negative self-talk?
So one of the things I say, and only because it's the thing that I own, that I have actual experience with, I don't like to recommend things that I haven't had to do myself, because I felt that thing when I started, and I still feel it sometimes, even with new projects. Even though I've done so much, I still feel it sometimes. And what I do personally is I make myself so busy. I lay out the step-by-steps that I need to overtake, and I kind of tell this analogy, like, if I had to drive from Vegas to New York City, I'm not going to like come up with all these reasons anymore why the car may break down in Arizona, or I may run out of gas, I won't have enough food. I just get in my car and start to drive. And I make myself so busy, and I take steps every single day so aggressively. I don't have time for those voices to really sink in as much as they used to do when I was first starting out. So my answer is just I make myself super busy.
Yeah, and the reality is like, even if you do run out of gas in Arizona, or the tire pops, something like that, those are things, like, most of those things you can deal with, right? You can change the tire, and you can call in the service provider to put gas in your tank, that kind of thing. Like, but that only happens if you're in motion.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's a good way to fight the little negative voices. Just get in motion and ignore them, right? They can tell you the story all they want, but just not listening. You're driving anyways.
I'm driving, baby.
You're driving. I'm getting to New York. Hell or high water, right? Yeah. So the other side of the common enemy is the driving force, right? So Spider-Man fights to save New York, Batman fights to save Gotham, Google fights to index all of the world's information. What is your mission, right? If you could go out and do something for all of your clients, what's the mission that you serve?
So I would say my main mission right now, the thing that makes me most passionate, is the business that we've been talking about most, where my goal would be to bring the same level of automation that high-tech companies have for their businesses. It's just normal for Uber to feel like Uber. You pull out your phone and the car shows up in 2 minutes, you jump in, and you don't even think about payment. I want to bring that same level of automation and technology that high-tech startups have to regular local people in Boise, Idaho, that are starting a 3-person company mowing lawns. That's the thing that drives me right now, and the thing that I spend most of my time.
So, interesting question on that. is that mission more geared towards the people those businesses are serving? You want them to have better experiences, or because you want those businesses to be like, who's the mission geared towards? Is it geared toward the small business, or is it geared toward the small business's customers?
It's geared. It's firstly geared towards the small businesses because they if they're able to provide this to their customers, they're going to do so much better than they're doing right now. They're going to grow faster. Yeah, their customers are going to be happier. They're going to bring all these competitive advantages over their competitors who completely ignore all this stuff. And it really just allows me to build this space where regular people are just doing so well, building fast-growing businesses in traditionally ignored spaces.
So if I'm hearing you right, it's a type of ripple effect mission, whereas you start impacting these businesses all over the country, they're going to start having bigger, more thriving businesses, contributing to the economy, hiring more people. Like you have a really tremendous ripple effect for the work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing that you're doing for businesses too, because like you're taking something that, like, I would imagine most businesses think of that stuff as unreachable, unattainable, like they couldn't do things like that, so they don't even try. And so you're showing them how they can have all that stuff in their business.
Absolutely. They don't even try. It seems impossible, and it seems like, and also seems too expensive. Like, how can I, like Uber app seems like and it probably has been like a $100 million development cost or something like that, right? But what I'm saying is, like, you can do this, and without dealing with the technology challenges, and completely change your business, change your life, change your customer experience.
So next question is your hero's tool belt, right? So maybe you have a big magical hammer like Thor, or a bulletproof vest like your neighborhood police officer, or maybe you just really love the way like Evernote helps you organize your thoughts, or maybe how you build killer slides in Keynote. I even had people on the show that say that, it's their A3 sheet of paper that they draw out their mind maps and stuff on. What is a big tool that you use in your business to help you do what it is that you do?
Okay, good. So with my accounting brain, is what I did for like 10 years before I got into the space. I go straight to the cash flow. And for me, the thing that has been the most awesome for my business has been Stripe.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about that. I've never had anyone say that a merchant processor was the biggest tool for their business. How's that a big win?
Yeah, absolutely. So for people that may not know what Stripe is, it's just, it's a merchant processor. It takes credit cards and they charge you like, I don't know, 2.9% or something, same as PayPal. But what Stripe has done is, when I first started my actual local service business myself, I was running like a home cleaning company. And I wanted to make it as forward thinking as possible. At the time, we used to take cash, we would take checks, and we would have like bounce checks every single week. And people would forget to leave the cash on the dining room table. And just managing that thing it really hurt the growth of the company. We lost so much money along the way. And then somebody hit me to say, you know what, let me try plugging in Stripe and making that Stripe only. You can only pay us by credit card. My company grew so much faster. One, I removed all the not getting paid, of course, but then I was able to plug our customers into their own account. So each customer had an account in our business, and we can use their credit card to automatically charge them every week and every month and so on. And we just made the business much more streamlined, grew so much faster, and it just completely changed our operations. Now everything is aligned with Stripe. The money goes into Stripe. We're able to send it out to our contractors automatically without even lifting a finger. And it freed me up completely to just do marketing. All I need to do now is drive more customers into that overall funnel, and everything is taken care of. Completely changed the business.
Yeah. So what's really interesting about that is that the if you pull back a little bit, the thing that was really beneficial for you was figuring out how to apply automation to your finances, right? So when you were able to automate your finances in your business, it helped free up a lot of the mental power and physical labor power that had to go into finances, you were able to take all of that out and then apply it to other parts of your business, which allows you to grow.
Yes.
Right. So, because you freed up all of the, the mental cycles that were going into that. And it's interesting because I found the same thing in my business, something that I spent I just like the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've spent taking everything in my business and transitioning everything into automated payments. And we're actually using Stripe for the same thing. And like this first month, we just had it happen where all of the payments came through automatically. And it was like, oh man, it just totally changes everything that I can do this month and going forward, because 4 or 5 hours a week of, trying to get payment stuff taken care of is just gone now. Like it all just happened automatically. So I can totally see how that was a huge change, especially at the scale your business is talking about.
Absolutely. It was incredible. It's funny that you're going to really enjoy this, man. Next couple of months, you're going to be like, wow.
Yeah, well, I've already noticed that I can, that I was like, man, with that part taken care of, I could take on a few more clients. I can increase revenue. I could put some more effort into these other things because the money's taken care of. So finances are automated. That's a really cool thing. And like I said, I've never had that come up in a discussion on these calls before. So it's really interesting that automating finances and being able to take that effort, move it into marketing of your business has really, really helped grow.
Are you tired of trying to write webinars that don't consistently convert? How would you like to have a webinar that effortlessly created sales in your online business? You can. Introducing the Webinar Alchemy Workshop. Webinar Alchemy Workshop is an online masterclass that will help you write incredibly persuasive webinars for your online courses quickly and easily. Using what you learn in this class, you can build a webinar that educates your entire audience while still creating sales. For a limited time, you can purchase this masterclass for only $7, and you'll get the exact framework I've personally used to help my clients sell more than $1 million worth of online coaching and training just over the last year. Simply text the word alchemy, ALCHEMY, to 444999, and I'll send you all the details.
The music is by Purple Planet Music. Visit www.purple-planet.com.
So, okay, so next question is your own personal heroes, right? So Frodo had Gandalf, Luke had Obi-Wan Kenobi, Robert Kiyosaki had his rich dad. Who are your heroes, right? Were they real-life mentors? Were they speakers or authors? Were they peers that were maybe just a few years ahead of you? And how important were those heroes to what you've accomplished so far in your business?
So, the first person that comes to mind, I usually like to go with the first thing that comes to mind is, so back in 2011, at that time, I was still at my job, right? And I would take the train every morning. And one morning, I was taking the train in DC. And the train station has a little bookstore. And there was a table at the beginning, to the entrance of the bookstore with a couple books. And there's a book on there that said 4-Hour Work Week. And I was walking by and I was like, 4-Hour Work Week? What is this? I was like, I'll grab it really quickly. I'll read it on the train for the next couple of days and see what it's about. That thing changed my entire life. I know I'm probably not the first person to mention this book, but it's Tim Ferriss. He wrote this book about how you can build an online business and you're able to, over time, extract yourself from that business and do very little, still get paid 6 figures per year or something even higher than that, and just change your life and live a completely different life. And I read that book and it changed everything. So now, even though I'm still building businesses, with each business I build, I extract myself out of the business, bring my obligations down to less than 4 hours per week now. And then I go on and do the same thing, and I just repeat it in the cycle. But I got that entire idea from that book.
That's really awesome. Actually, I read the same book probably, I don't remember when it was, maybe 2008, 2009. And it really helped put my business on the trajectory it's on now. So I didn't quite go the same route of building, multi-million-dollar companies. I went for more of the freedom lifestyle. So I'm in an RV right now. I travel the country full time. And I've been traveling full time with my family for 2 years, while running my business, and have the freedom to do that. So I have pretty much complete time freedom and complete location freedom, but it's the same, what would you call it? The same catalyst for that was reading the 4-Hour Work Week, and helping build my business to that point. So, he changed my life, learning how to hire people and how to automate things.
Yeah. Dude, that's incredible. I did not know that you were in an RV and you live like just traveling. That's amazing.
Yeah. So like currently we're in Texas. In a couple of weeks we'll be down on the coast going to go see the international sandcastle competition. And a few weeks after that we're going to be in Southern California and going up the coast of California for the summer and enjoying it. But I have my clients all over the country, and I use this little. I'm in an RV office in here that I do my shows from, and so we travel full time and really take advantage of the freedom and everything that you can have with today's technology.
Right.
So
incredible. Okay. So now you are new goals for me. So I'm glad we connected.
Yeah. So it's like, I've had a couple. I had a client in the past, and it was like he makes way more money than I do. He's like he's in your boat, right? Makes several $1 million a year with his businesses, and he's like, I'm jealous of your business. He's like, because you have so much time freedom and location freedom. He's like, I can't do that. He's like, I need to do some of the things you're doing. So, anyways, yeah, we can certainly connect and talk about some of those things. But yeah, it's super cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, did you have any other heroes you wanted to mention, or just Tim Ferriss before we moved on?
Yeah, that's probably the best one I can say.
Okay. So, last real question for the interview is your guiding principles, right? So, it's bring it home for our listeners. What are the top one or two, say, principles or actions that you use every single day in your business to contribute to the success and influence that you enjoy? And specifically, are there any that you wish you had when you first started out on your hero's journey?
All right, so the thing that comes to mind is, as I am working with my employee, my contractors, my business partners, working with suppliers for our businesses, as I'm working with all of these different constituents, my goal is to always create situations where everybody wins. And if everybody wins, people are going to want to work with you more. They're going to be more invested. They're going to work harder. They're going to be more creative. They're going to, everything positive you can imagine flows to you if you only enter into relationships where everybody wins. And I kind of keep that as my base. And it's the base for everything I do as I interact with all these different stakeholders as I build my businesses. So that for me is it.
Yeah, that is incredible. It's actually it's one of mine as well. I do the same thing, and I talk to all my clients about this. And it's like that every situation we enter needs to be win-win-win, right? It's win for me as your contractor. It's win for you as the business owner. It's win for your customers who are buying your products and going through your stuff. That everyone who touches anything that we're doing together walks away feeling like they've won something. We even approach our marketing from that standpoint, right? Where we're looking at how can the marketing that we put into the marketplace, the people who interact with that marketing feel like they've won or had a positive impact in their life when they interact with our marketing. So like it's incredible what happens in your business and the businesses around you when you approach everything in your business from how do I make this a win-win-win for everyone that it touches.
Absolutely. It's funny that we share a lot of the same ideas and values, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I've discovered that a lot on this show as you interact with people who share success in their business. A lot of them share a lot of the same like life principles and things like that. So it's really fascinating. And I particularly like that one, the whole idea of win-win-win, because it's so foundational, right? And if you can learn how to approach things from that way and really think about what the transaction looks like from the other person's perspective, right? If you can get into your employee's shoes, right? If you can get into the person who's interacting with your marketing or your business partner and be like, how does this impact you? And how is this exciting for you? Then it just changes the conversation completely. And you end up building much better products and much better, journeys for your customers when you think about it that way.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Cool. So last thing we do on the show, and we do this every time, and I call it the Hero Challenge, right? So the Hero Challenge is really simple. And all it is do you have someone in your life or in your network that you think has a really cool entrepreneurial journey or story that we should bring onto the show and tell their story? One, who is it? And two, why do you think they would be a good person to bring on the show and tell their story?
I have someone that comes to mind right away. One of my business partners, his name is Kevin Pereira.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, he was he was doing real estate. He was a real estate broker, and
Okay.
he absolutely hated it. Came across one of the case studies that I wrote. Took that, built. He quit. He said he had one more transaction to make in his real estate, and if that transaction went through, he was going to make $10,000. He took that money, poured it into a business, following one of my case studies, built it for like $50,000 per month, sold it for six figures, moved to Costa Rica, came back, and then started building a whole host of other businesses. And now he has like a huge portfolio of companies paying him a bunch of money while he hardly doesn't work. but his story is amazing. He wanted to he likes the mountains, he likes the outdoors. He's kind of like you, where he likes to like travel and he's always on the road. And he wanted a house in the mountains. He just moved to like Bear Mountain or something in California, and he fishes all day. And but he has a bunch of technology businesses and all sorts of stuff. Really cool guy. Yeah, I think our audience would be interested.
Yeah, that's super cool. I would love to have him on an interview. And what would you say his name was again?
It's Kevin Pereira, and I can send you his email or something offline.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll definitely we'll ask him to come on. So last thing, thank you so much for coming on, Rohan. It was really cool to get on and pick your brain a little bit and talk about your journey. Next question for you is, where can people find you if they want to learn more about either you, Rohan, or I think importantly the business that you're talking about, where you actually teach people how to do the stuff that you're doing with local businesses. Where can they find out about that kind of stuff? And like, who's a good fit for that?
Yeah, so they can find me on my Facebook, primarily facebook.com, Rohan Gilkes, RohanGilkes. And for the site where we kind of teach people how to build these businesses is 27dayslaunch.com. So 27 days, the number 2, launch.com. And the people that this is most well suited for are people that want to live like that nomadic lifestyle that you're living right now. Because it can all be done from your laptop, which is how I live in Vegas now, but my local service business is in Washington. And you can kind of build businesses that way if you want. People that if you've been trying affiliate marketing, you've been trying Amazon marketing and eBay and Shopify, and that stuff hasn't worked out, this is something else that I think that has a really high chance of working out if you bring the effort. And we have a whole team of people to support you through the process. And
yeah, that sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on, Rohan. And you said you live in Vegas. I'll be in Vegas in a couple of weeks. So I'll make sure I hit you up. Maybe we can go get coffee or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's super cool. We'll be there, I think the 5th of May. Right. So anyways, I'll hit you up.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. So thank you very much for coming on. And again, it's facebook.com/Rohan Gilkes, RohanGilkes, for 27 days to launch. So 27 DAYS, the number 2 launch.com. You can hit up Rohan there. It sounds like you got some really cool things that you're doing over there. And again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Look forward to meeting you in person here when we get a chance to get out to Vegas.
It'll be awesome. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.